Hello, friends. Today we are here to discuss the chapter called Time Value of Money. It is always said that money today is always worth more than money tomorrow. So, this chapter discuss about what is the value of money in present term. Say, for example, if somebody promises to give you 1 lakh rupees after 5 years of time, what should be the amount which we can accept today? So instead of 1 lakh rupees, which is we supposed to receive after 5 years, how much we should accept in today's term, and vice versa. So this chapter is basically talks about time value of money, and there are two concept in time value of money. One is called time value of money in present term, and one is in future term. So that is called present value of money and future value of money. Let us discuss in detail. So as we can see slide, the time value, we can have two most common method. One is called compounding value, which we commonly known as future value, and one is discounting value, which is present value. So if we wish to know the value of money in terms of future, for example, today I have 1 lakh rupees, what will be the value of this 1 lakh after 6 years of time? So to find out value in future term, it is known as compounding value, or it is known as future value. But if some company promises to give you 1 lakh rupees after 10 years, so this 1 lakh rupees is future value already given. If we want to know what is the value of this 1 lakh rupees, which is after 10 years we are supposed to receive in today's terms, so what is this 1 lakh rupees today? How much we can value this 1 lakh rupees today rather than after 10 years? And this is known as discounting value, or we can say present value. As in this slide you can see the chart of time value of money. There are two, as we just discussed in previous slide. One is present value and future value. Now the practicals, or we can calculate the time value of money as far as present value is concerned. Again, there are two types. One is called lump sum present value, to find out value of money in lump sum term, and one is annuity. And again, in annuity there are two categories. One is called ordinary annuity and one is annuity due. The same thing applies for future value lump sum and future value annuity. And again, in annuity there are two types. One is ordinary annuity and one is annuity due. Now what is lump sum? If we are supposed to find out value of any future cash flow which is already given, but what is this cash flow value in today's life, in today's term? For example, today is 2021 and the bank is going to pay you 5 lakh rupees in 2026, which is after 5 years. So this 5 lakh rupees is considered to be the future value, but it is lump sum value. Lump sum means only once you will receive 5 lakh. So this 5 lakh is lump sum value which you are supposed to receive in 2026. Now to find out what is the value in today's term, that is in 2021, and when we apply the formula to find out the present value of this, it is known as a lump sum present value, because we are converting lump sum cash flow into present term. Now what is annuity? Annuity means equal amount of cash flow is involved. It is known as annuity. The word equal amount is necessary. So let's say, for example, every year starting from 2021, every year we are supposed to receive 5,000 rupees. 5,000 rupees in 2021, that is 31st December 2021, 5,000 in year 2022 until 2030, that is for next 10 years. Every year we will receive equal amount. Equal means 5,000 rupees, which is fixed. Now, to convert this all equal annuity into present term is known as present value annuity. So, the word annuity means equal amount should be involved in cash flow. To convert the present value, it is known as present value annuity. And when we want to know the future value, it is known as future value annuity. We will be discussing what is future value annuity after some time. Now, the word annuity, as we said, it is equal amount is involved. Again, there are two types. If the amount is received at the end of the period, that means every year you receive 5,000, but at the end of the year you receive 5,000 every year, it is known as ordinary annuity. But if you are receiving the equal amount every year, 5,000 rupees every year you receive in the beginning of period, it can be beginning of year, it can be beginning of month, but it can be beginning of the period, then it is considered to be annuity due. So to sum up, annuity means equal amount of cash flow should be involved. Equal, the word equal is very important. Every year 5,000, then 5,000 for the next whatever the number of period is given. If it is 6,000, then every year it should be 6,000. In between, the amount should not get changed. So it is annuity. Now, if the same annuity, if the same cash flow you receive at the end of the period, it is ordinary annuity. And if the same cash flow you receive in the beginning of the period, it is annuity due. Now, future value. Suppose you have 1 lakh rupees today and you are investing in bank for 5 years. So you are investing 1 lakh rupees only once. Now we are talking about future value lump sum. You are investing 1 lakh rupees only once. So only single cash flow is involved. We are investing today, and after 5 years, what is the future value? It is known as future value lump sum, because only one amount, only one cash flow is involved. Now, what is future value annuity? Annuity, again the rules apply the same. Equal amount of cash flow should be involved. So if I'm investing 5,000 rupees every year for next 5 years, I'm investing 5,000 rupees in 2021, I'm investing 5,000 rupees in the year 2022 and till 2025. So next 5 years I'm investing 5,000. So this equal amount I'm investing. What will this amount accumulate? What will be the total of this 5,000 with interest in 2025? That is known as future value annuity. The word equal amount was there, that is why it is future value annuity. Again, ordinary annuity and annuity due, the rule applies the same. If I'm investing at the end of the year, every year I'm investing 5,000, but at the end of the year it is ordinary annuity. But every year I'm investing in the beginning of the year, it is annuity due. So this is the meaning of lump sum annuity and annuity due and an ordinary annuity. So here we can discuss the formulas. The formula which you can see is present value formula, but it is lump sum. So when we are finding the present value of lump sum amount, so the formula is present value equals to future value divided by 1 plus interest rate raised to n, power n. So it can be written as future value divided by 1 plus I whole raised to n, where I is rate of interest, n is number of years, like for how many years the future value is given, and PV, that is present value, that we are supposed to find out. This is the formula for present value lump sum. Now if we are using present value annuity where equal amount is involved, and if it is ordinary annuity, not due, that means at the end of the period the cash flows are involved, then the formula is present value equals to A, which is annuity amount, into bracket 1 minus 1 divided by 1 plus interest raised to n whole divided by I, that is interest rate. So if it is ordinary annuity, now the same formula we can use if it is annuity due, in the same formula 1 plus I will be added, because the annuity is involved in the beginning of the period, beginning of the month or year. So one more interest we receive, or one more interest is involved, and that is why the original formula, that is A into bracket 1 minus 1 upon I raised to n whole divided by I, in this original formula one more interest we add, that is 1 plus I will be added. That is the value annuity formula. Now comes of future value. Again, it is first we discuss the lump sum. If it is, our job is to find out what will be the value of money which you have today after 5 years, after 6 years, or in future year, that is after 5, 6, 10 or any year. But the amount we are investing is lump sum, not every year we are investing. So the future value formula equals to present value 1 plus I power n. But if we are investing amount every year, the cash flow which we are investing, our job is to find out the future value of invested amount, then it is considered to be the future value annuity, and the formula is A into bracket 1 plus I power n minus 1 whole divided by I. And if it is annuity due, then again 1 plus I will be added, that is future value equals to A 1 plus I power n minus 1 whole divided by I multiplied by 1 plus I, that is one more interest will be multiplied. So here is a question where we need to find out the future value or present value of the cash flow, but the question will be solved not with the help of formula. The question can be solved with the help of present value and future value table. Here we are going to find out the value of cash flow. What will be the value after 15 years? That is, our job is to find out future value, but the amount is not equal. As we discussed, for applying the annuity formula, the cash flow should be constant throughout the period. The cash flow, the amount involved in this annuity should be constant. But as we can see in this question, as we save 2000 rupees a year for next 5 years, so for the first 5 years we are saving 2000 rupees, and after 5th year, so from 6th year to 15th year, that is after 5 years, for next 10 years we are saving 3000 rupees. So here the amount is changing, and when the amount is changing, we cannot apply the annuity formula, neither present value nor future value. Over here we are going to find out the future value. If the amount is 2000 rupees for all 15 years, we could easily apply future value annuity formula and we can calculate the sum. But as the amount changes, the sum will be calculated with the help of table. The next thing what we need to confirm is whether it is due or ordinary annuity. So what will be the savings cumulated at the end of 15 years if the rate of interest is 10%? Interest rate is given, but it is not mentioned whether it is amount which we are saving and we are investing is at the beginning of the period or at the end of the period. So we will calculate the future value by considering both. first we consider if it is invested at the end of the period, what will be the future value, and second again we calculate if it is invested in the beginning of the period, what can be the future value. So let's solution in the next slide. So here is a solution. By considering whatever amount we save, we are saving at the end of the year. So why there is a change in the calculation? So let us first understand the logic behind this calculation. As I said, the amount is not equal. We have to calculate the sum with the help of table by applying future value table, but not with the help of formula. So here the total number of years involved are 15. So the first column which you can see is year. The second column, which is very important, is we need to understand whatever amount we are investing. So first 2000 rupees which we are investing, and as we assume we are investing at the end of the year, so let us assume we invest on 31st December, right? 31st December 2001 we are investing, so we will not get interest for the year 2001, but this 2000 rupees we will withdraw after 15 years. So now this 2000 rupees is actually growing for 14 years. To understand it in a simple way, our total investment starts from 2001 to 2015, and our job is what will be our saving at the end of 2015. So when you save 2000 rupees at the end of 2001, so now 2001 year has already been gone, so this 2000 will grow from 2002, 2003, 4, 5 till 2015. That means this 2000 rupees will grow for 14 years and we receive interest for 14 years. Next 2000 rupees which we are investing, we will receive interest for 13 years because we are investing in at the end of 2002 and we will get it back in 2015. So 13 years this amount will be invested. So every year whatever amount we are saving, so the second column shows for how many years we receive interest, and the last 3000 rupees which we are investing on 31st December 2015, and we withdraw all the amount on 31st December 2015. So for last 3000 rupees we will not receive interest, and that is why in second column on 15th year the interest received equals to 0 here. So this 3000 rupees will not receive any interest. So the future value factor, that is fourth column, whatever amount we are saving 2000 rupees will grow for 14 years. So 3.7975 is 10% interest for 14 years factor. So when we look into the future value table and the combination of 10% and 14 years, the factor, future value factor, will be 3.7975. We can also do it with the help of calculator also. It is 1.10 and you need to multiply with 14 times. 1.10 multiplied by 1.10, this you can do it for 14 times and the factor will be 3.7975. And these are the factors. We can also look into the future value table and we can also do it with the help of calculator. And when we multiply our savings with the respective future value factor, we get after 15 years we will receive 79,482 rupees. So this is what the future value cumulate, the amount cumulate, whatever amount we are saving every year, at the end of 15 years we will receive 79,000 rupees, which is total of amount which we save with interest. So this solution is by assuming we invest the end of the year. Now in the next slide we do the calculation, and if we invest amount in the beginning of the year, what can be the amount we receive after 15 years. So in this slide the calculation, but now we assume if we invest amount in the beginning of the period, that means on 1st January 2001 we invest 2000. So first 2000 rupees will grow for 15 years. So in second column, as you can see, the 2000 rupees which we are investing in the starting of the year, starting of the period. So this 2000 now we will get it after 15 years, so it will grow for 15 years and so on. And now we multiply with the respective future value factor, and again we can look into the either we can do it with the help of calculator or we can look into the future value factor. So the first factor, which is 4.1772, is 10% and 15-year combination from future value, or you can do it with the help of calculator, that is 1.1 and multiply with 15 times. So when we multiply our savings with the respective future value, the total amount which we can receive is 87,430. So this is we receive extra amount because we are investing in the beginning of the period. 1 year interest we receive extra, and that's why, as compared to at the end of the year where the amount was 79,000, if we invest in the beginning of the year, that is on the 1st January or starting of the year, the total amount comes to 87,000. So in the next slide there is a comparison between the total amount we receive at the end and beginning. So in this slide, as we see the comparison, if you invest amount at the end of the period, the total amount with interest which we can receive of our investment is 79,000. Whereas if we invest amount in the beginning of the period, that means starting of the year, starting of the period, the amount which we receive is 87,430. The amount which we save are same, the amount which we invest number of years are also same, but the only difference is if you invest amount in the beginning of the year, you can receive interest for one more year extra, as compared to if you invest amount at the end of the period. So this is the calculation of future value. Though it is annuity, but the amount is not constant every year, and that's why we cannot use the formula. We compulsorily have to find out the future value with the help of the table. So this is the solution of the question. You can get some more detail on my blogspot, which you can see on the next slide. Thank you for the listening.